Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is March 7, 2022, and today is Monday morning. So welcome back, everybody, from a lovely weekend I hope you had. Now, looking at the highlights of the day, oil explodes on Russian-Ukrainian war. This is not coming off very well. Now, there's no major economic events scheduled for today. The markets are already in disarray because of this. Now, looking at the Forex symbols, the euro tanks to new yearly lows at 108. Now, looking at the indices, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the DAX, the NIKKEI all tank on their lows. Now, looking at commodities, gold and oil both explode. Oil trading at 125 a barrel. Now looking at the stocks, tech stocks trades lower, and JP Morgan on its lows and looking even lower. Now lastly, looking at Bitcoin breaking support at that 41,000 Fibonacci retracement to 36,000. We're going to take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're looking here at a daily chart, at a 4-hour chart, of the Euro USD, and you can see we are just bouncing off of our low of 108.30. Okay, we haven't been in this area in such a long time, but you could see this coming in from the end of February, just tanking, just completely not getting any kind of love here, and just getting downside momentum. Now looking at a daily, you can see pretty much that's the low of the year. We got to go to a weekly to give us perspective. We do have support level at this 106. So, we're in that supportish congested area between 106 and 108. And that's really supportish area, that whole area. So, particularly if we do bounce a little bit today and we go lower tomorrow, but that's something that we'll have to see as that resolves itself. And what I want you to pay attention to is right here. Look at this volume. This volume corresponds to this moment, to this massive sell-off, okay? And that means we haven't seen this type of activity since when? Since the beginning of the pandemic, okay? That was March of 2020, and that was when we had the spike here. So, we are look at the gradation of the volume. The volume is getting bigger and bigger. Now, when you do get that kind of gradation and it's trading lower, you could expect lower momentum, further momentum on the downside. I'm not saying it's going to happen today or tomorrow, but it will eventually actually break down. So keep that in mind as this also continues. Gbp Usd also retraced to 132 on disarray on its support level, 132-ish. Also, looking at the Australian dollar, just keep on going to 74.26. We were at 73 last week, and this keeps on, going on the upside because gold is going on the upside. So, that's very closely related to the Australian dollar. Now, looking at the commodities, all right, first looking at gold. Gold trading at 1981. Remember, our all-time highs, if we look at a weekly, is 2040. Okay, for all intents and purposes, we're not that far away from it, 60 points away. Okay, we did spike to almost 1990 just yesterday. So just keep that in mind as this keeps on pushing higher and higher. I mean, people are going to try and do what? They're going to try and trade the gap, meaning to say it's going to fill the gap here to 1968 and possibly use that as a support for further buying. Now, looking at crude oil. I mean, we are now trading at 124. We spiked to 130, okay? And now we are retracing to 124. Again, this could also play out the same way when we do retrace down to 116, 120. Now, we haven't been in these areas also in a very, very, very long time. It doesn't show it to us on this chart because it's not a futures chart, not a continuous future chart. So it's not going to show us historical charts beyond the past 6 months. So with that said, just keep that in mind that this is multi-year highs, okay, for at least 7-8 years that we have not been in this 125-ish area. So just keep that in mind. Now, looking at the U.S. markets, the U.S. markets are also tanking. If we look at the Dow Jones trading at 33,345, just getting a little bit of activity on the upside right now, but also did trade as low as 33,129, okay, which was our double bottom here. So this may be an area that we just perk above, but keep that in mind also today if this does close the gap at this 33,500. Now looking at the NASDAQ, not getting that much of a bounce here, as you can see, even though it does look like it's getting a little bit of a bounce, 113,630. The stocks are still very, very weak. I mean, if we look at the individual stocks, they're still pretty weak. If we look at Apple, down. Okay, trading at 163, relatively strong. It's not trading at 152, 156, but still down on the day. If we look at Facebook, it's really weak. Okay, at $200 a share. Microsoft also retraced to 290 and not sustaining that $300 range. Again, it's not trading at 274 where I would expect it to, but it is trading down. Looking at Cisco also trading a little bit down, but on its, so we may see a little bit of a bounce today, but keep this in mind that this war is not going away, and this could really spill over to the rest of Europe. Now, looking at Amazon, also very, very weak here at 2912 and not sustaining that 3,000 level. Now, JP Morgan is where it's at on its lows at 134, and this could potentially bring the market even lower. Okay, breaking that support level at 141, and potentially if this broke this area, our next support level is 114. So keep that in mind. And it means 114. That means the Dow Jones should be somewhere in the 30,000 range if that's the case. Okay, so just keep that in mind relative to the index, relative to the stock that it's trading. That's where it should really be. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin trading at 38,130, bouncing a little bit here after retracing. Okay, it's a bit of a yo-yo ride. Okay, it is trading in that range. Okay, but you could see that it broke that 41,000, and we're just bouncing off of it right now. So ultimately, between 34 and 44,000, we're smack in the middle. So nothing really jumped out at me. We're below the moving averages, which may mean that we're oversold a little bit, and we should maybe expect a little bit of a bounce. So keep that in mind later today. Trade responsibly. It's going to be volatile. It's going to continue being volatile, and just take quick picks in the market and book your profits. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.